Welcome to the Stoic Tide. Most men think moving in with a woman is the next step in love. But here's the truth. Once you cross that line, you'll never see her the same way again. And if you don't know this one rule before living with her, you'll lose her respect, your peace, and maybe even your future. Let me explain. Living together sounds like the natural evolution of a relationship. You've been dating. The chemistry is there. You're spending more nights together anyway, so why not make it official? Why not merge lives, share bills, wake up side by side? On the surface, it looks like progress. But beneath that romantic veneer lies the greatest trap most men never see coming. Because the moment you share a roof with a woman, something shifts in her psychology and the dynamic in how she sees you. She no longer sees just the man she fell in love with. She starts to see the man she must manage. And here's the brutal truth. If you don't understand how that management process works, you'll slowly surrender your masculinity, one small compromise at a time. Let me give you an example. A man I knew moved in with his girlfriend after 2 years of dating. At first, everything felt perfect. She decorated the apartment, cooked meals, added little touches that made the place feel like home. But within months, the criticisms began. How he washed dishes, how he left his shoes, how much time he spent gaming or working late. Small things at first, but consistent. He laughed it off, thinking it was just normal couple stuff. What he didn't realize was that she was rewiring the frame of the relationship. Slowly, without either of them noticing, he went from being the man she admired to the boy she corrected. Here's what most men miss. A woman cannot move into your space without reshaping it. It's not malicious. It's not even conscious. It's evolutionary. Women have always been nest builders, environment shapers, security seekers. When she moves in, she's not just moving clothes and furniture. She's moving her psychology into your life. And that psychology has one mission: to mold the environment into something she feels in control of. And here's where the trap tightens. The truth is, women view cohabitation differently than men. For men, it's about convenience, comfort, and intimacy. For women, it's about control, security, and future trajectory. She's not thinking this will be fun. She's thinking, now I can start molding him. If you fail to recognize this shift, you'll think you're being a good man by compromising. But compromise, when it consistently erodes your frame, isn't compromise. It's submission. And submission kills attraction. So what's really happening here? Why do women who once admired your independence start trying to reshape you once they move in? The answer lies in a deep psychological shift, one that flips the relationship dynamic almost overnight. And in the next section, I'm going to reveal the exact psychological changes that happen inside a woman's mind the moment she shares a home with you, and why so many men are blindsided by them. When a woman moves in with you, something fundamental changes. It's not just her address. It's not just who pays the bills. It's her psychology. And most men are absolutely blind to this shift. Here's the first brutal truth. Living together removes the mask. When you're dating, she's still performing. Not in a fake way, but in a selective way. She chooses what to show you. She dresses a certain way, controls her mood swings, filters her words. Why? Because she's still competing for your commitment. But once she's moved in, the performance ends. You're locked in. You've already invested. And subconsciously, she knows she no longer has to win you. Now she has to manage you. That's the second truth. Living together flips the evolutionary script. For men, commitment feels like achievement. You won her. She chose you. You're building a future. For women, commitment is a new test. Now that she has access to you daily, her psychology shifts from attraction to evaluation. She's no longer asking, do I love him? She's asking, can he lead me? Can he protect me? Can he keep me emotionally engaged long-term? And here's where it gets dangerous. Most men confuse comfort with security. They think, if I make her comfortable, she'll love me more. Wrong. Comfort without strength breeds contempt. A woman will absolutely use comfort to test your leadership. If you bend too much to please her, she doesn't feel safer. She feels less respect for you. Fact. Studies in relationship psychology show that women are twice as likely as men to initiate breakups, and cohabitation accelerates that risk. Why? Because once she sees your unfiltered habits, she judges your long-term potential brutally. Every little detail, your discipline, your boundaries, your habits gets processed not as quirks, but as evidence. Evidence of whether you're a man worth following or a boy she'll outgrow. Think about that. Before she moved in, leaving your laundry on the chair was cute. After she moves in, it's immature. Before, working late was ambitious. After, it's selfish. Her perception changes because her psychology has shifted from dating you to evaluating you as a life partner. Now, here's the third and most controversial truth. Women are biologically wired to reshape their environment, and you are part of that environment. She will redecorate, reorganize, and restructure the home. And she'll try to do the same with you. If you don't hold the line, you'll wake up one day and realize you're not living in your house anymore. You're living in hers. And worse, you're not living as you anymore. You're living as the man she molded. Most men give in. They think happy wife, happy life. But here's the reality. Every inch you surrender of your masculine frame erodes her attraction. She may thank you in the moment, but deep down she resents it because she's testing you and you're failing. So let me hit you with this fact. The number one complaint women have after moving in with a man isn't that he's too tough or too stubborn. It's that he's too passive, too agreeable, too easy to push. And that's why so many relationships collapse after cohabitation. Not because of money, not because of chores, but because the man surrendered his masculine role the moment they signed the lease. In the next section, I'm going to expose the silent tests every woman will run on you once she moves in, and why failing them destroys attraction faster than cheating ever could. The moment she moves in, the tests begin. And let me be clear, these are not random. They're not accidents. They are part of her psychology. Some call them tests. I call them relationship stress tests. And if you fail, the consequences are brutal. She loses respect, she loses attraction, and eventually she loses love. Here's the first test. Boundaries. She'll push small things at first. Where you put your shoes, what time you come home, how much time you spend with your friends. These seem like harmless adjustments, compromises. But here's the truth. They're probes. She's not actually obsessed with the shoes by the door. She's testing whether your word matters, whether your habits are negotiable, whether you're a man who holds his frame, or a boy who bends at the slightest frown. Fail this test and it won't stop at shoes. It escalates. Suddenly she's dictating how you spend your weekends, how often you call your family, even how you pursue your goals. Because you trained her to believe that your boundaries are suggestions, not laws. The second test, your ambition. Women are attracted to men with drive, with fire, with purpose. But once she's living with you, she'll unconsciously test whether that ambition can withstand comfort. She'll want more time together, more cozy nights in, more us time. It sounds sweet, but underneath she's watching. Will he sacrifice his mission for me? And if the answer is yes, attraction dies. This is the paradox men don't understand. The more you make her the center of your universe, the less she wants to orbit you. She wants to be with a man on a path, not a man who abandons his path for her. The third test, your emotional control. Arguments are inevitable, but once you live together, the arguments multiply. She will provoke you, sometimes without realizing it, sometimes deliberately. She wants to see, can this man stay calm under fire? If you explode, she feels unsafe. If you sulk, she feels bored. The only answer is calm, grounded leadership. You don't match her chaos. You neutralize it. The fourth test, your masculinity. This is the most controversial one. Once you cohabitate, she will push against your role as the leader. Not because she consciously wants to overthrow it, but because her psychology demands to feel that you are stronger than her emotional storms. She might argue over finances, household decisions, or even who controls the thermostat. It sounds trivial, but it's primal. She's asking, am I living with a man or a child? Fail this test consistently and she won't just stop respecting you, she'll start resenting you. And here's the hardest truth. These tests never stop. Men think if they pass a few, they're safe. Wrong. A woman's psychology is wired to keep checking over and over forever. If you pass, she feels secure and respects you. If you fail, she slowly detaches. Let me drop the wisdom most men avoid. Love does not keep a woman loyal. Respect does. She can love you and still betray you if she doesn't respect you. She can love you and still leave you if she doesn't admire you. But if she respects you deeply, she'll stay through storms most men never believe possible. So the tests aren't punishment, they're survival. She needs to know you're worthy of leading the ship. But here's where men go wrong. They either fight these tests with ego or crumble under them. Both paths lead to ruin. In the next section, I'll reveal the power dynamics you must never surrender when living with a woman. The lines that once crossed guarantee the death of attraction. Here's the uncomfortable truth no one tells men. When you live with a woman, you're not just sharing space. You're negotiating power. And if you don't know which power dynamics you must never surrender, you're already on the path to losing her respect. The first and most critical power dynamic, control of your time. The moment you start canceling plans, skipping workouts, or dropping your mission because she wants just one more episode, you've surrendered. She may smile in the moment. She may thank you, but inside she feels something shift. She no longer sees you as a man with a direction. She sees you as a man who can be rooted at will. And here's the killer. She will never admit this out loud. She won't say, "I respect you less now." Instead, you'll feel it in subtle ways. Colder intimacy, sharper criticism, more withdrawal. All because you stopped being the man who prioritizes his mission. The second power dynamic, control of your emotional state. If she can provoke you into rage, sulking, or emotional collapse, she owns you. Period. Men think showing vulnerability is healthy. And yes, there's a place for it. But constant emotional dumping, or worse, emotional instability, flips attraction into maternal instinct. She stops seeing you as a lover and starts seeing you as a dependent. And once that switch flips, it rarely flips back. The third power dynamic, your financial frame. Money is power. Period. And when you cohabitate, the financial dynamic matters more than you think. If you let her dictate how money is earned, saved, or spent, you've lost the frame. That doesn't mean you never collaborate, but it does mean you must maintain the position of final responsibility. A man who hides his spending or lets his woman fully control the purse strings has already surrendered. She won't say it, but inside she'll think, "If I'm managing the resources, what do I need him for?" The fourth power dynamic, your social life. This one cuts deep. Many men let their world shrink the moment they move in with a woman. They stop seeing friends. They stop networking. They become domesticated. And here's the truth. The smaller your world becomes, the smaller you become in her eyes. Women don't respect a man whose only circle is her. They respect a man who has influence, status, and reach beyond her. The moment your social life collapses into just us, she feels trapped and she'll subconsciously resent you for it. And finally, the fifth power dynamic, your personal boundaries. This is the line in the sand. Without boundaries, you're not a man. You're furniture. If she screams at you, disrespects you, invades your privacy, and you tolerate it, you've declared to her, "You can treat me however you want and I'll stay." And once she knows that, it's over. Not today, not tomorrow, but eventually she'll lose all attraction. Because deep down, no woman respects a man she can walk all over. Let me be provocative here. It's better to risk losing her by enforcing boundaries than to guarantee losing her by being spineless. Most men choose the latter. They avoid conflict, hoping it'll buy peace, but all it buys is quiet contempt. So here's the wisdom. When you live with a woman, you must be willing to walk away. Not every day, not dramatically, but in principle. Because the man who cannot leave is the man she cannot respect. And in the next section, I'm going to show you the red flags that prove your cohabitation is doomed. The signs most men ignore until it's too late. Let's get brutally honest. Most men don't recognize the warning signs until it's too late. They confuse temporary comfort with long-term security. They see small issues as normal couple stuff. And by the time they realize what's happening, their respect, their freedom, and their masculinity are already gone. Here are the red flags you must never ignore once a woman moves in. Red flag 1. Disrespect becomes casual. At first, she might disagree politely, but slowly it shifts. Sarcasm creeps in. Eye-rolling becomes normal. She cuts you off mid-sentence. She mocks you in front of friends. Listen carefully. When a woman no longer fears disrespecting you, she no longer respects you. And respect once lost is almost impossible to rebuild. Red flag 2, intimacy dries up. Every man knows this one, but few are brave enough to face the truth. When you first lived together, you couldn't keep your hands off each other. But now excuses pile up. I'm tired. I'm stressed. Maybe this weekend. And you think it's just a phase. It's not. Intimacy is a thermometer of respect. When she stops desiring you, it's usually because she stopped admiring you. Red flag 3. She treats the home as hers, not yours. Pay attention to this subtle shift. She starts redecorating without asking. She rearranges your furniture, your schedule, even your habits. Suddenly, it doesn't feel like your space anymore. It feels like you're a guest in your own house. That's not love. That's colonization. Red flag 4. She isolates you from your mission. This one's deadly. Maybe she doesn't forbid you from working on your goals, but she constantly distracts you. Guilt trips you for spending time on projects, pouts when you focus on yourself. Slowly, you begin to trade ambition for comfort. And one day you wake up realizing you've lost years of progress, and she doesn't even respect you for the sacrifice. Red flag 5, constant conflict with no resolution. Every couple fights, but here's the difference. Healthy conflict ends with resolution. Toxic cohabitation is a cycle. The same arguments over and over with no progress. That's not passion. That's erosion. Each fight chips away at your authority until you're too exhausted to stand up for yourself. Red flag 6. She threatens the relationship during arguments. This is one of the ugliest but most telling signs. Instead of working through problems, she dangles the breakup card. Maybe we're not meant for each other. Maybe I should just leave. Understand this. If she weaponizes leaving, she's already emotionally halfway out the door. Red flag 7. You feel less like a man, more like a roommate. This is the silent killer. You stop leading. You stop commanding. You start negotiating every little thing, seeking her approval for decisions you used to make with confidence. That's not partnership. That's slow-motion emasculation. Now here's the harsh reality. Most men ignore these red flags because they're afraid. Afraid of conflict, afraid of being alone, afraid of starting over. But that fear is exactly what keeps them trapped in relationships that are draining their masculinity. So here's the wisdom. When you see these red flags, don't justify them. Don't minimize them. Don't explain them away. Face them because every day you ignore them. You're training her to respect you less. And in the final section, I'm going to reveal the one rule every man must follow before living with a woman. The principle that can save your respect, your peace, and your future. Here's the truth, brother. Moving in with a woman can either make you or it can break you. It's not about love. Love fades. It's not about attraction. That rises and falls. It's about respect. And if you lose that, nothing else matters. So what's the rule? Never give up your frame. Your frame is your mission, your boundaries, your sense of self. It's the structure she either respects or destroys. If you bend it for her, if you hand it over in the name of compromise, you'll wake up one day as a shell of the man she fell for. And she won't even pity you. She'll despise you. Here's the hard wisdom. If you're not ready to enforce boundaries, don't move in with her. If you're not living a mission bigger than the relationship, don't move in with her. If you think cohabitation will fix problems instead of magnifying them, don't move in with her. Because the truth is, once you let a woman into your home, you've let her into your psychology. And if you don't know how to protect that space, you will lose it. So men, if you take nothing else from this video, take this. She can love you and still leave you. But if she respects you, she will follow you anywhere. Respect isn't given. It's maintained every day in every action. If this hit you hard, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, share this video who needs to hear it, and subscribe to the channel.